In the meantime, though, we were moving now from New York City, though, to Venice in Italy. Many are describing this as the wedding of the decade or the wedding of the century, whatever you want to describe it as, between Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and his fiancée, Lauren Sánchez. Let's talk about this with our friend there, TMZ executive producer Michael Babcock. He joins me. Michael, so good of you to be with us. We got to get into it. We do have some footage from some of the arrivals. Take a look at that. You can see kind of all the stars dressed in their best there, getting on these wooden paneled boats outside the Greedy Palace, one of the really best hotels in Venice, as they make their way down the canals to kick off this weekend here. So is that how you would describe it, Michael? The wedding of the decade, the wedding of the century, what?
Yeah, I think I think decade might not be a long enough time frame, Andrew. It's like our as Americans our royal wedding, and you've got these two very famous people who run in the most A-list of circles, and it's like you've got someone in Lauren Sanchez who, and I think Jeff Bezos as well, and I don't mean this as a knock at all, it's a compliment that they really like nice things, and Jeff Bezos he's got the means to make whatever they want to come true and make it a reality. And I think that's why here you've got, I mean, quite literally just the best of the best. Like you said, Andrew, the best hotel, one of the most beautiful locations in Venice in the entire world. And you've got some of the biggest and most prominent people from acting and music and the sports world, business leaders, politics. You've got Ivanka Trump is there. Jared Kushner's there. You've got Tom Brady there, maybe the best football player of all time. You've got Leonardo DiCaprio and Orlando Bloom. I mean, just to see, you've got pictures and from a little bit earlier in the week, Andrew, and you've got Orlando Bloom and Tom Brady just strolling through Venice together, and it's amazing to see. And I know some of the locals not exactly thrilled that this wedding has sort of taken over the city, but for the people who like to see fancy things and fancy people get dressed up nice and sort of interact together, it's got everything that you could ever possibly want from that aspect. And they're officially married. They were actually married beforehand, and they just go over there. So this is really all ceremonial.
Okay.
But bottom line, it is a ceremony, that's for sure.
So, Michael, I have to ask, because they have been engaged for some time, and that leads to the question of whether or not a prenuptial agreement has been signed. What do we know about that? Is there any reporting out there to suggest that it took them this long to actually tie the knot because of the agreements or disagreements, per se, on a prenup?
Yeah, I don't think I don't think it had anything to do with that or being able to reach an agreement. I mean, there was always going to be a prenup if you're worth $250 billion, obviously. I mean, I think his attorneys might try and kill him if he had just wanted to get married without one in place. So, she obviously had done really well for herself beforehand too, not to that degree, hardly anybody to that degree outside of, Elon Musk and a couple others maybe. But I don't think that really that was the holdup here. But yeah, they do have one. And, I think it was pretty much always going to be that way just because of the enormous wealth that Jeff Bezos obviously has.
Look at some of these images from the Washington Post over St. Mark's Square there in Venice. I think it says, hey, Bezos, if you can rent out Venice for your entire wedding, you can pay higher taxes. So to your point about the locals not taking this too well, although I was reading that some think this is going to be a boon for Venice's economy, this entire charade over, what, 4 or 5 days?
Right. That's a good point, because it wasn't just the wedding. They have had all of these different parties, and you've got all of these celebrities coming in and spending a lot of money. I mean, they had a foam party yesterday, Andrew. They had a Gatsby-themed cocktail party. They've had pool parties. They're renting out the different restaurants and the hotels. And I can only imagine, set aside the tens of millions of dollars that Jeff and Lauren are spending on just the wedding, but just some of the money that the other guests are spending just from having been in town. But at the same time, I understand it. If you're, it's a place you live and you've got all of these private jets and the yachts and, it kind of disrupts your normal way of life. And I understand that people who are there more than just for 5 or 6 days out of the year, why they might be annoyed by all this. I don't find that to be shocking. At the same time, I think you've got some people who are excited that this is happening in their town, in their city.
I mean, because that's been a whole conversation about these, especially these Italian tourist destinations, the kind of influx of tourists. A lot of these municipalities they're trying to tamp down. They're trying to put, limits and regulations on the number of tourists because it is just getting so crowded and busy. To your point, do we know the price tag? Have we seen a number? I see some estimates.
There have been estimates. I mean, a wildly large range. I mean, you're talking about from anywhere between 10 and 80 million dollars are the estimates. And I would be surprised, honestly, if it was closer to 10 than it were to 80, because I think that just the hotel that's been rented out. I mean, those hotel rooms in cases go for $10,000 a night, and you're talking about almost the entire hotel being rented out for them. So, if it is 80, he might not even know that that's missing with all the money that he's got.
I've been to Venice. I've never stayed at the Greedy Palace. Michael Babcock, thanks so much for being with us. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, Andrew. You too.